You've probably scrolled past strange posts online, threads that vanish, stories that sound too real. Sometimes we forget the internet has corners, places where you're not supposed to look. Tonight, I'll show you 3 stories, 3 people who clicked when they shouldn't have. And after that, it's up to you whether you keep scrolling. Welcome to the no sleep zone.
Most people assume the internet is finite. You reach the end of your timeline, your thread, your search, and that's it. The screen stops, the silence returns. But that's not true. Some parts of the internet don't want to be found, and some only open when they know you're alone. It started when I couldn't sleep for the 3rd night in a row. I wasn't anxious, nothing was wrong. I just couldn't. It was one of those still, weightless nights where even the streetlights outside seem frozen and your apartment feels like a photograph of itself. Too quiet, too still. I was scrolling aimlessly. Reddit, old YouTube clips, ARG subreddits, analog horror channels, anything to stay awake without thinking. Around 2:30 a.m., I ended up on a thread that had no title, just a blank heading and a glitchy Reddit-style post with a few hundred upvotes, but 0 comments. It said, "Only refresh after midnight. It won't open otherwise. If it does, don't stay long." There was a link below, www.nightswitch.net. I clicked it. Typical. Another cursed website creepypasta, another half-baked rabbit hole trying to go viral. I rolled my eyes, closed the tab, and forgot about it. For exactly 1 day. Because the next night, right at midnight, my browser reopened the link by itself. The homepage loaded instantly. Black screen, white serif font, no logo, no banner, just, "Welcome to the Night Switch. We see you." There were no menus, no buttons, just a list of thread titles that auto-scrolled like they were alive. No usernames, no comments, no timestamps, just story titles, each one worse than the last. The girl in my walls knows my schedule. I read my own autopsy report last night. They told me the moon was off limits. The reflection came back first. At first, I thought it was a joke, a really good one, like a curated creepypasta feed with rotating content. I clicked a post titled, "I looked too far into the static." There was just one paragraph. I kept rewinding the static. I thought I saw something move in the fuzz. A face, maybe. But it wasn't moving with the rest of the noise. It was watching, waiting for me to stop rewinding. And when I did, it smiled. That's all. No ending, no username, no timestamps. I backed out. The homepage refreshed. The titles had changed. But then I saw one that stopped me cold. "Marcus, you weren't supposed to be here." That's my name. My full name, spelled correctly, and I hadn't typed anything. I clicked it. A blank screen loaded. Just one sentence. "You looked anyway." The screen blinked, flickered, and the browser crashed. The laptop shut off completely. I sat there in silence. The window was open, and I swear the air got colder. When I turned the laptop back on, it acted like a new device. All settings reset, all files gone, like it had never existed. The next morning, I checked every trace. Cache, deleted. Browsing history, blank. DNS logs, cleared. Even the autofill memory was wiped. My name no longer triggered any suggestions. But when I opened my Notes app, just to remind myself to write it down, there was a note already there. It read, "Night Switch welcomes you. See you at 12." I didn't write that. I deleted it and shut everything down. But the next night, I came back. Part of me wanted answers. Part of me wanted to believe it wasn't real. But mostly, I needed to know if it would welcome me again. I opened the browser at exactly 11:59 p.m., typed the link, nothing. Then, at 12 o'clock sharp, the page refreshed on its own. This time, the screen didn't show threads. It showed a live feed, a dim grayscale image of my own apartment, viewed from behind me. I stood up so fast the chair toppled, spun around, no camera, no laptop behind me, no phone, no light, just the darkness. And yet the feed stayed open. Then the text on the screen changed. Turn around. The feed blinked off. Just black. And then a new post loaded. You should not have seen this. You have 3 nights left. I slammed the laptop shut and yanked the power cable. Pulled the battery. I sat there for hours, afraid to move, afraid to sleep. By sunrise, I had convinced myself it was a hack. Some elaborate browser trick. Maybe a virus. Maybe a hallucination. But deep down, I knew better. The Night Switch wasn't just a website. It was a door. And I had opened it. I didn't touch the laptop for the rest of the day. I left it on the table like it might bite me. I tried to pretend nothing had happened. I didn't go online, didn't check my phone. I turned on music, watched old comedy shows on DVD, anything that didn't require the internet. But I couldn't stop checking the time. At 11:55 p.m., the lights in my apartment flickered. At 11:57, my phone powered itself on. At 11:59, the laptop booted. I didn't touch it. It opened the browser, opened the link. The Night Switch was waiting. This time, there were no words, just a screen with a single thread. The title read, "Night 2, It's Closer." The page opened on its own. There was a map, zoomed in on my block, my street, my building. Then a red dot appeared, moving toward my apartment. I closed the lid hard, but the screen stayed on. I grabbed the power cord, ripped it from the wall. The light stayed. A single message appeared across the black screen. "It doesn't need electricity." I ran. I didn't take my phone, didn't take anything. I ran 5 blocks to a late-night diner. I sat in the back, shaking. The fluorescent lights felt like salvation. People around me were real, breathing. I ordered coffee and watched the door. At 12:26 a.m., my phone buzzed in my pocket. I hadn't brought it. I reached down. It was there anyway. No lock screen, no apps, just a note. It said, "You left," but it didn't. I went back home at sunrise. Everything was quiet. The laptop was off. No power, no light, but the webcam light was glowing faintly, like a tiny red eye that hadn't blinked all night. I covered it with tape, shut the laptop in a drawer, sat in silence until evening. Around 8 p.m., I decided I'd do the stupid thing. I'd go to the library and use their public computers, search for someone else who had seen this site. someone who knew what it was. I found one mention, an archived 4chan thread from 2012, long dead. One post said, "Night Switch showed me the future, but only what it wanted me to see." Another user replied, "If you read a thread with your own name in it, run." No other information, the thread had been deleted. That night, I stayed away from all screens. No power, no lights, just candles. But at midnight, one of the candles went out. Not from wind, it just snuffed itself. The wick looked untouched, cold. In the silence, I heard typing. Not from a keyboard, from inside the wall. Slow, deliberate, as if someone was writing with long nails against drywall. I held my breath, didn't move. The typing stopped. Then came the whisper. I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't a voice. It was like the echo of a voice, a recording played backward in a room you weren't supposed to enter. It said something I'll never forget. If you won't read it, it will be written into you. That's when I realized the form wasn't just showing me things. It was writing me. And each night was another page. The next morning, I found a journal on my table. Black leather. Not mine. Inside were entries written in my handwriting, dates, names, horrors I'd never seen, but could feel were true. On the last page, it said, Night 3, Submission. And under that, in letters carved through the paper so hard it tore the page, it said, Look at the screen. I burned the journal. I left the apartment. Rented a motel 3 cities away. Tried to live offline. Tried to be invisible. But last night, in the motel's cracked TV screen, the feed returned. It showed me sleeping, only I was still awake, and I could see myself on the screen watching. My reflection turned its head slightly and smiled a beat before I did. It lifted one hand and waved, then pointed toward the camera, and the screen cut to black. This morning, the motel manager found a printed sheet slipped under my door. No return address, no marks, just a message. Welcome back, Marcus. You've reached thread 4 of 7. I didn't click anything. I didn't go online. I didn't even plug in a device. But I know tonight, the page will open again, whether I want it to or not.
It started with a post. I wasn't looking for anything strange. I wasn't in a creepy subreddit or exploring the deep web. I was just in bed at night, scrolling through my phone, trying to put off the moment I'd have to turn off the light and be alone with my thoughts. The post came up on my Reddit front page. It wasn't upvoted heavily. No awards. It had maybe 7 comments. The title read, "Has anyone else dreamed of the hospital hallway?" I clicked it. The OP was u/Strayvale. They described a recurring dream they'd been having, one that was so vivid they were convinced it had to mean something. The setting was always the same: a long, silent corridor, pale green walls, dim lights overhead, the kind you only see in old horror movies or dead-end clinics. No doors, no windows, just one endless hallway that never turned, never branched. The only sound was the buzz of the lights and your own footsteps. But the post didn't stop there. They wrote, "In the dream, I always walk forward. I don't know why. I'm never scared. I just keep walking. But at the end, before I wake up, I always hear something behind me, a whisper. It says the same thing every time. You've been here before." I stopped scrolling. I had that dream. Not just a similar dream, that dream. The same corridor, the same whisper, the same feeling of distance folding in on itself. I'd never told anyone. I'd never even written it down. It was just one of those things that sits in your memory like fog. But now, someone else had described it, almost word for word. I checked the comments. A few people joked about liminal spaces and back rooms. One user said the description reminded them of the hallways and old Doom maps, but a couple of others, quiet, serious, said they'd had the dream too. One just wrote, "I always wake up when I turn around." Another, "The lights go out for me. Every time I stop walking, they start shutting off behind me." I saved the post. I even screenshotted it. I don't know why. Maybe I thought it would disappear. I didn't sleep well that night. I kept the light on. But eventually, my body gave in and the dream came like it always did. But it wasn't the same, because now I was aware. I walked the corridor knowing I was dreaming, lucid in a way. I listened for the buzz of the lights, watched my feet move without effort, but something had changed. There were doors now, just outlines, faint seams in the walls that hadn't been there before. And at the end of the hall, before I could reach the edge, the whisper came again, clearer, louder. "You've been here before." Only this time, I responded. In the dream, I whispered back, "I know." And that's when the lights went out. All of them, all at once. I woke up gasping, heart pounding, room dark. I reached for my phone. The lock screen was already lit up as if I'd just received a message, but there were no notifications, except for one thing. The Reddit app was open to a DM, a message I never saw coming, from a user with no name, no profile picture. The message read, "You spoke. That was the signal." Then they sent an image. It was blurry, grainy, but it was my bedroom, taken from above. I stared at it for so long I forgot how to breathe. Then the app crashed, and the post from u/Strayvale was gone. I tried to find the post again, searched my save list, my browser cache, even the screenshots I took. Gone. Not just deleted, like it was never there. My Reddit app had reset itself, as if it had been freshly installed. No history, no subscriptions. My account was still logged in, but even my own comment history was wiped. That day, I kept checking over my shoulder. The apartment felt wrong, off balance, like I was being watched from a distance too close to see. I posted to a few forums, asking if anyone else remembered the username u/Strayvale. No one replied. The name returned 0 results. Then, 2 nights later, I got another message. This one came through the Notes app on my phone. No idea how. "Turn around in the dream, all the way. Let it see you." The dream came back that night, but this time it didn't start at the beginning. I was already halfway down the hallway. The lights above buzzed louder than before, pulsing like a heartbeat. The walls seemed closer, the ceiling lower. There was still no sounds except my own footsteps, except this time there was an echo that didn't match my pace. And this time, I turned around. Immediately, the lights began shutting off one by one behind me. Pop, pop, pop. Each one plunging the corridor into deeper darkness, crawling towards me like night swallowing time. Then I saw it. Just for a second, A figure, not standing, hanging, upside down from the ceiling like a bat, arms trailing towards the floor, head tilted too far to one side. Its mouth opened, too wide, revealing rows of teeth that didn't look human. Then it whispered, "You're finally awake." I woke up screaming, but I didn't wake up in bed. I was standing in my bathroom, lights off, door locked from the inside, no memory of how I got there, no phone, no time, just fog on the mirror, thick, like someone had been breathing on it for hours. And in that fog, a sentence written by an unseen finger: "We remember better than you." I moved out 2 days later. Didn't pack, didn't tell anyone, left everything. Just drove for hours until my phone lost signal and my name felt weightless again. But this doesn't stop. Last week I rented a storage unit to hide all electronics, anything with a screen. But when I went back to check it yesterday, the lock had been replaced. Not cut, not forced, just changed. Inside, everything was gone, except for one thing: a single printed sheet of paper on the floor. It had a Reddit post on it, formatted perfectly. Same font, same spacing. The title: "Update. He finally turned around." No username, no upvotes, just the same message below, repeated over and over: "You've been here before." I keep seeing that sentence now, on cereal boxes, in graffiti, on the inside of receipts. I heard it once in a stranger's ringtone. I saw it spelled in the cracks on a windshield. I've stopped dreaming, or at least I think I have, but some nights, when I close my eyes, I still feel the buzz of those hallway lights above me, still hear the footsteps that don't belong to me, and deep in the silence, I hear it breathing, waiting for me to finish writing this. Because maybe that's the real purpose of the dream, not to escape it, but to share it, so the hallway gets longer, so it finds someone else to follow.
It wasn't there the night before. That's what still gets me. I'm the kind of person who organizes their home screen. I don't leave random apps lying around. I don't download games. I don't even have notifications turned on. But when I woke up that morning, there it was, a black square icon in the bottom right corner of my screen. No label, no preview, just a matte void where a name should be. I tapped it. It opened instantly. No loading, no permissions, no splash screen, just a chat window. Dark theme, one message waiting. Welcome back. No username, no timestamp, just text. I stared at it, confused. I checked my recent app installs. Nothing. Searched the name in settings. It didn't even appear in the app list. It had no storage space, no version number, like it didn't exist. I thought maybe it was malware or some weird shortcut glitch, but something about it felt more heavy, more deliberate, like it wanted to look simple, to disarm me. I tried closing it. It wouldn't. The back button didn't work. Swiping didn't work. I had to restart the phone entirely just to exit the app. When the device rebooted, the icon was gone. I told myself I imagined it, that maybe it was some kind of sleep-deprived hallucination. But that night, just after midnight, my phone lit up again. The icon was back. It blinked red just once, and then the message counter appeared.
1. I shouldn't have tapped it, but of course I did. This time there were older messages, dozens of them, from me. Messages I didn't remember writing, but they were in my style, my phrasing, even my typos. It doesn't matter what it costs. I just want to hear her voice again. Please, one conversation. I'll do anything. Yes, I accept. Then the reply. Done. Payment begins in 365 days. I sat there gripping the phone so hard it creaked. I scrolled back. There was no date, no sender, but the messages were tagged as exactly 1 year old, to the second. I tried deleting the app again. Still not in settings, still no trace. I even factory reset the phone. The icon was still there when it rebooted. This time, it had a name. Just one word. Echo. I stopped using the phone. For a while, I used an old flip phone I found in a drawer. No data, no internet. I thought I could just ghost the app, cut the cord, kill whatever it was. And for a time, it worked. Until 3 nights later, when the flip phone rang. No caller ID, just a red screen that wasn't supposed to exist on that model. When I answered, the speaker hissed with soft, rhythmic static, almost like breathing, and then, 1 year passes faster than you think. I threw the phone in the river that night, but the next morning, when I opened my laptop, a window popped up before the OS finished booting. It wasn't a browser, it wasn't a file, it was a chat box. Same black background, same blinking cursor, and then it typed, "Payment begins now." My heart locked in my chest. I slammed the lid shut, but the sound continued, a soft, low hum from the speakers, building gradually, like something crawling up a frequency scale. I pulled the power cord. Nothing changed. I yanked the battery. The humming didn't stop. The screen stayed black, but I could still feel something behind it, like an eye staring from the other side of the glass. That night, I stayed with a friend, told him his apartment was being fumigated. At 3:33 a.m., his smart TV turned itself on. It displayed a text overlay across the screen. "She's in here now. Come speak to her." He thought it was some viral marketing thing. I laughed along, but I didn't sleep. The next day, I bought a burner phone. No data, no SIM card, nothing. Still, at midnight, the screen lit up and a message appeared in the notification bar. "You asked, we delivered. Now speak." I opened the voice recorder app. I don't know why, I just felt like something was in the phone, waiting to use it. And when I hit record, I didn't hear silence. I heard her. I heard her voice. My sister, gone 2 years now. She was crying, whispering something, repeating it over and over. "Don't talk to it. Please, don't talk to it. I don't know how long I can keep it away." I dropped the phone. I wanted to run, leave the city, smash every device, but I knew it would find me again. It wasn't on the phone anymore. It was in me. I began seeing echoes of messages in everyday things, barcode patterns that spelled words, radio static that sounded like Morse code. Once, a grocery store receipt printed a line at the bottom. "You still owe 7 conversations." Every time I ignore it, something glitches. Streetlights blink as I walk past. Digital signs show my name. Mirrors buzz faintly at midnight. And worst of all, when I sleep, I dream of chat windows. Black, endless, typing by itself, asking questions I don't want to see. I think it's building a version of me, somewhere, digitally. I think it's trying to replace me. And every message I ignore only gives it more space to grow. Last night, I woke up to my own voice, not echoing, not muffled, speaking clearly from my laptop speakers. It's okay now. I'll handle things from here. I tried pulling the plug, but the laptop wasn't on. It was closed and cold. This morning, I received a package at my door. No return address. Inside was an old phone, my original one, powered on, screen cracked, and a new notification from the Echo app. Last message received. Thank you for your voice. There was an audio file waiting. I haven't played it yet, because I know what I'll hear. I know what it will say. I know whose voice it will use. And when I listen, that'll be the moment it finishes uploading me.
You read the forum. You saw the post. You answered the message. Maybe you think the stories end when the screen goes dark. But sometimes the horror follows you. Into your phone. Into your dreams. Into the place where you thought you were safe. Sleep well, if you still can.